1 hour a day can change the direction of your entire life. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they never stay consistent with small daily actions. In this audiobook, you will learn how a single focused hour can build discipline, remove distractions, strengthen your mind, and create real progress in your life. If you often feel stuck, unmotivated, or overwhelmed by your goals, this message is for you. You will discover how to build routines that actually work, how to stop excuses before they control your choices, and how to develop skills that improve your future step by step. Stay with this entire audiobook because each chapter gives simple, practical actions you can use immediately in your daily life. Do not forget to subscribe for more content like this, because what you learn here is designed to help you grow every single day with clear direction, steady effort, and real results that last. Chapter 1. Commit 1 focused hour daily toward meaningful progress. Most people spend years waiting for the right moment to change their lives. They wait for more money, more confidence, more free time, or better circumstances. They convince themselves that real progress will begin someday in the future. Yet that future often arrives looking exactly like the present because waiting rarely creates change. Action creates change. Consistent action creates lasting change. The idea behind this book is simple. 1 hour a day may not seem powerful when viewed in isolation. 60 minutes can feel small compared to the demands of work, family, responsibilities, and everyday challenges. But when that hour is used with intention and focus, it becomes one of the most valuable investments a person can make. Many people underestimate what can happen when effort is concentrated. They assume meaningful progress requires dramatic sacrifices or endless hours of work. The truth is often the opposite. Progress is usually built through small periods of focused effort, repeated over long periods of time. Great achievements rarely appear overnight. They grow through daily commitment. Think about any skill that takes years to develop. Writing, speaking, learning a language, improving physical fitness, building a business, mastering a profession, or creating financial stability all share something in common. They reward consistency more than intensity. A person who works steadily for 1 focused hour every day often surpasses someone who works randomly for several hours once in a while. This idea is important because human beings naturally overestimate what they can accomplish in a single day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. When expectations become unrealistic, discouragement follows. Someone starts a new goal with excitement, works excessively for a few days, becomes exhausted, and eventually quits. The problem is not lack of desire. The problem is the approach. 1 focused hour changes the equation. It creates a target that feels manageable while remaining powerful enough to produce results. It removes the pressure of trying to transform your entire life in a week. Instead, it asks for something much more reasonable. Show up today. Give your best effort for 1 hour. Then repeat tomorrow. This approach also develops something even more valuable than achievement. It develops trust in yourself. Many people struggle not because they lack talent, but because they no longer believe their own promises. They tell themselves they will start exercising next week. Next week passes. They promise to begin studying next month. Next month disappears. They plan to save money, read more books, improve relationships, or learn new skills, but their actions never align with their intentions. Over time, every broken promise weakens self-confidence. A person begins doubting their ability to follow through. The issue is not capability, the issue is credibility. They stop trusting themselves. A daily focused hour rebuilds that trust. Every time you honor your commitment, you send yourself a powerful message. You prove that your word matters. You demonstrate that your goals deserve attention. You show that your future is important enough to receive effort today. This may seem small at first, yet the psychological effect is enormous. Confidence is not created through positive thinking alone. Confidence grows when actions repeatedly support beliefs. When you consistently keep promises to yourself, your sense of self-respect begins to rise. There is another benefit that often goes unnoticed. Focused effort reduces mental clutter. Many people carry unfinished goals in their minds every day. They think about projects they should start, skills they should learn, and improvements they should make. These thoughts consume energy. Even when they are resting, part of their attention remains occupied by unfinished intentions. A dedicated hour creates relief. Instead of constantly worrying about progress, you know progress is scheduled. You know there is a time reserved for growth. This allows the mind to relax because action is replacing uncertainty. Consider someone who wants to improve their career. They spend months thinking about gaining new qualifications but never begin. Every week brings guilt and frustration. Then they decide to dedicate one focused hour every evening to learning. The goal remains the same, but everything feels different. The burden decreases because movement has started. The same principle applies to health. A person may spend years wishing they were stronger, healthier, or more energetic. The desire alone produces little change. But one focused hour devoted to exercise, nutrition planning, and physical improvement creates momentum. The results may not appear immediately, but the direction changes immediately. Direction is often more important than speed. Many people become obsessed with rapid results. They want visible progress immediately. When it does not happen, they lose motivation. What they fail to realize is that success is often invisible in the beginning. A seed planted in the ground does not produce visible growth the next day, yet important changes are happening beneath the surface. Roots are developing, strength is forming, future growth is being prepared. Personal development works the same way. During the early stages, effort may appear unrewarded. Skills improve slowly. Habits feel uncomfortable. Results seem distant, but beneath the surface, transformation is taking place. Knowledge accumulates. Discipline strengthens. Identity evolves. This is why commitment matters more than immediate rewards. When your focus remains on showing up for your daily hour, you free yourself from constant emotional dependence on outcomes. You stop asking whether today's effort changed everything. Instead, you ask a better question. Did I honor my commitment today? That question leads to sustainable growth. Life will not always cooperate with your plans. Some days will be difficult. Unexpected problems will appear. Energy levels will fluctuate. Motivation will rise and fall. Stress will occasionally demand attention. None of these realities eliminate the value of your daily hour. In fact, difficult days often reveal the true power of discipline. Anyone can work toward a goal when circumstances are perfect. The real test occurs when convenience disappears. Choosing to continue despite obstacles develops inner strength that cannot be gained any other way. Every focused hour becomes evidence of who you are becoming. Not someone who waits for ideal conditions, not someone who depends entirely on motivation, but someone who acts because the commitment matters. Over time, these daily decisions begin shaping identity. You no longer see yourself as a person trying to improve. You become a person who improves. The distinction is subtle but powerful. One describes an intention, the other describes a reality created through repeated action. The remarkable truth is that life-changing progress rarely begins with dramatic moments. More often, it begins quietly. One decision, 1 hour, 1 day, then another and another. What seems insignificant in the present becomes extraordinary through repetition. Your future is being built whether you pay attention to it or not. Every day contributes something. Every day moves you closer to a destination. The question is whether that movement is intentional. One focused hour gives you control over that direction. It allows you to participate actively in the creation of your future rather than simply reacting to circumstances. It transforms growth from a wish into a practice. And once that practice becomes part of your life, possibilities that once seemed distant begin moving steadily within reach. Chapter 2. Eliminate distractions that quietly steal your best time. Time is the one resource that every person receives equally, yet the results people achieve with that time can be dramatically different. Some individuals build successful careers, strong relationships, valuable skills, and meaningful lives. Others spend years wondering why progress never seems to arrive. The difference is often not intelligence, talent, or opportunity. The difference is how time is protected and used. Most people do not lose their future in a single disastrous decision. They lose it in small moments that appear harmless. A few minutes scrolling through unnecessary content, a few more minutes checking notifications. Another distraction pulls attention away from important work. Hours disappear without creating anything valuable. Days pass, weeks pass, eventually years pass. The danger of distraction is that it rarely feels dangerous. When people think about threats to their goals, they usually picture major obstacles. They think about financial problems, difficult circumstances, or lack of resources. Yet many goals are not destroyed by large obstacles. They are quietly weakened by constant interruptions that steal attention one small piece at a time. Attention is one of the most valuable assets you possess. Wherever attention goes, energy follows. Wherever energy goes, results eventually appear. If attention is constantly scattered, progress becomes difficult. If attention is directed toward meaningful work, progress becomes almost inevitable. This is why protecting your daily hour matters so much. A focused hour cannot exist in an environment filled with distractions. Every interruption breaks concentration. Every unnecessary notification pulls the mind away from deep thinking. Every temptation to switch tasks reduces effectiveness. The result is that 60 minutes of available time may produce only 20 minutes of actual progress. Many people underestimate the cost of these interruptions because each one seems small. A message arrives, a video appears, a notification flashes. Responding takes only a few seconds. The problem is not the seconds themselves. The problem is the mental shift that follows. When concentration is broken, the mind often requires several minutes to fully return to the original task. Multiply that process throughout the day and the hidden cost becomes enormous. What appears to be harmless multitasking often becomes a significant barrier to meaningful achievement. There is also an emotional cost to constant distraction. A distracted mind often feels restless. It jumps from one thought to another without completing anything substantial. This creates a strange sense of busyness while producing very little satisfaction. A person may feel exhausted at the end of the day despite accomplishing few meaningful tasks. Focused work creates the opposite experience. When attention remains directed toward a single objective, the mind becomes calmer, progress becomes visible, effort feels rewarding because it produces results. Instead of ending the day with frustration, a person ends the day with evidence that they moved forward. One reason distractions have become such a challenge is that modern life is designed to compete for attention. Companies spend enormous resources trying to keep people engaged with content, advertisements, messages, and entertainment. Their goal is simple. The longer they hold attention, the more valuable that attention becomes. Understanding this reality changes the way you view distractions. Instead of seeing every interruption as harmless, you begin recognizing it as a choice. Every moment spent on something unnecessary is a moment not spent building the future you want. That does not mean eliminating enjoyment or relaxation. Rest has value. Recreation has value. The issue is unconscious consumption that provides little benefit while consuming significant time. A useful question to ask is simple. Does this activity move me closer to the life I want? If the answer is yes, the activity deserves consideration. If the answer is no, it may deserve less space in your schedule. Many successful people are not necessarily more disciplined every minute of the day. Often they are simply better at removing distractions before distractions become problems. They understand that prevention is easier than resistance. Consider someone trying to read for their daily growth hour. If their phone remains beside them, every notification becomes a temptation. Consider someone trying to learn a new skill while multiple tabs remain open on a computer. Their focus is constantly at risk. The environment itself creates friction. Now consider a different approach. The phone is placed in another room. Notifications are disabled. Only the necessary materials remain available. Suddenly, concentration becomes easier because fewer distractions exist. This principle extends far beyond technology. Distractions can also appear in the form of unnecessary commitments. Many people say yes to obligations that consume time without providing meaningful value. They attend activities they do not enjoy. They participate in conversations that lead nowhere. They fill schedules with obligations that leave little room for personal growth. Protecting your focused hour sometimes requires saying no. This can feel uncomfortable because many people fear disappointing others. They worry about appearing selfish. Yet every commitment carries a cost. Time spent on one activity cannot be spent somewhere else. Choosing where your time goes is ultimately choosing what kind of future you are creating. People often assume productivity means doing more things. In reality, productivity frequently means doing fewer things better. A person who focuses deeply on one important objective often achieves more than someone attempting 10 different goals simultaneously. Focus creates power because it concentrates effort. Scattered effort produces scattered results. There is another important truth about distraction. It often disguises itself as preparation. Someone spends hours researching instead of taking action. Another person constantly organizes plans without executing them. Someone else waits for perfect conditions before beginning. These behaviors feel productive because they create the appearance of progress. Yet progress comes from action, not endless preparation. Your daily hour should be a place where action takes priority. If you are learning a language, spend the hour practicing. If you are writing a book, spend the hour writing. If you are improving fitness, spend the hour training. Real growth occurs when effort directly engages with the objective. Many people discover that once distractions are removed, they accomplish far more than expected. The ability was always there. The problem was never lack of potential. The problem was lack of uninterrupted focus. Think about moments when you became completely absorbed in meaningful work. Time seemed to move differently. Concentration felt natural. Progress accelerated. Those experiences reveal what is possible when attention is fully engaged. The challenge is creating those conditions intentionally rather than waiting for them to happen by chance. This requires awareness. You must identify what consistently steals your time. For one person, it may be social media. For another, it may be television. For someone else, it may be unnecessary meetings, endless emails, or habits that provide temporary comfort while delaying important work. Once identified, distractions lose some of their power. You can begin making deliberate choices instead of automatic ones. The goal is not perfection. No one eliminates every distraction. Life contains interruptions. Responsibilities arise unexpectedly. Some distractions are unavoidable. The objective is simply to reduce the unnecessary ones so that your best energy remains available for meaningful progress. As this habit develops, something remarkable happens. You begin noticing opportunities hidden inside ordinary days. Time that once disappeared becomes available. 30 minutes here, 40 minutes there, an hour that previously vanished now becomes productive. The amount of time available may not change significantly. Your awareness of it changes dramatically. Eventually, you stop viewing focus as a rare event and begin viewing it as a skill. Like any skill, it strengthens through practice. Every day you protect your attention, concentration improves. Every day you resist unnecessary interruptions, discipline grows stronger. The reward extends far beyond productivity. A focused life often feels more intentional. Instead of reacting constantly to external demands, you decide where your energy goes. Instead of allowing distractions to shape your days, you shape your days through conscious choices. Your one daily hour represents something important. It is a declaration that your growth matters. It is evidence that your future deserves protection. It is proof that your most valuable resource will not be surrendered carelessly. Because once you learn to eliminate distractions that quietly steal your best time, you gain something far more valuable than efficiency. You gain control over the direction of your life. Chapter 3. Build consistent routines that strengthen self-discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people think discipline is something reserved for extraordinary individuals. They imagine highly successful people waking up every day filled with determination, never struggling with procrastination, never feeling tired, and never facing internal resistance. This belief creates a dangerous misconception because it makes discipline seem distant and unattainable. The truth is much simpler. Discipline is not about feeling motivated all the time. Discipline is about creating systems that help you act even when motivation is absent. It is less about forcing yourself through constant struggle and more about building routines that make positive actions easier to repeat. This is why routines matter so much. A routine removes the need to make endless decisions. Instead of asking yourself every day whether you should work on your goals, the decision has already been made. The routine provides structure. It turns action into a habit rather than a debate. Many people lose enormous amounts of energy negotiating with themselves. They wake up planning to exercise but spend 30 minutes deciding whether they feel like doing it. They intend to read but keep postponing it until later. They want to learn a new skill but wait for the perfect mood to arrive. Meanwhile, disciplined individuals often eliminate these internal negotiations. They follow routines. The action occurs because it is scheduled, not because they suddenly feel inspired. This principle explains why consistency often beats intensity. Someone may spend an entire weekend working passionately toward a goal. The effort feels impressive. The results seem promising. But if that effort is followed by weeks of inactivity, progress slows dramatically. Another person may work steadily for 1 hour every day. The daily effort appears smaller, yet over time the results become extraordinary. Consistency compounds. Small actions repeated regularly create outcomes that occasional bursts of effort rarely achieve. Think about physical fitness. A person who exercises intensely for a few days and then quits gains little long-term benefit. Another person who exercises moderately several times each week for years transforms their health completely. The difference is not a single workout. The difference is the routine. The same principle applies to nearly every area of life. Financial stability grows through consistent saving. Knowledge grows through consistent learning. Strong relationships grow through consistent attention. Professional success grows through consistent improvement. Personal growth grows through consistent effort. The challenge is that routines often feel boring at first. Human beings naturally crave novelty. New goals create excitement. New plans generate enthusiasm. The beginning of a journey often feels energizing because everything is fresh. Then reality appears. The excitement fades, the work becomes familiar, progress slows, results take longer than expected. This is the point where many people abandon their goals. What separates successful individuals is not that they avoid this phase, they simply continue moving through it. They understand that meaningful growth often happens during ordinary days rather than exciting ones. They recognize that repetition is not the enemy of success. Repetition is the foundation of success. A musician improves through repeated practice. An athlete improves through repeated training. A writer improves through repeated writing. A leader improves through repeated decision-making. The daily routine may appear unremarkable, but its long-term impact is profound. There is another reason routines strengthen discipline. They reduce dependence on emotions. Emotions are valuable, but they are unreliable guides for consistent action. Some mornings you will feel energetic. Other mornings you will feel tired. Some days confidence will be high. Other days doubt will appear. If your actions depend entirely on emotional states, progress becomes unpredictable. A routine creates stability. You perform the action regardless of temporary feelings. You honor the commitment whether enthusiasm is present or absent. This does not mean ignoring emotions completely. It means refusing to let emotions become the sole authority over your behavior. Many people discover an interesting truth after following a routine consistently. Motivation often arrives after action begins. They expected motivation to come first. Instead, they find that taking the first step creates momentum. Once movement starts, energy increases, focus improves, resistance decreases. Waiting for motivation can delay progress indefinitely. Starting despite imperfect feelings often creates the motivation you are seeking. Consider someone committed to using their daily hour for learning. Some evenings they feel excited to study, other evenings they feel exhausted. If they only study when enthusiasm appears, learning becomes inconsistent. But if studying is part of a routine, the decision is already made. They sit down, begin the work, and often discover that concentration returns once the process starts. This is one of the hidden benefits of routine. It helps you move beyond temporary moods and remain connected to long-term goals. Another advantage is that routines create identity. Every repeated action sends a message about who you are. When you exercise consistently, you begin seeing yourself as someone who values health. When you read daily, you begin seeing yourself as someone committed to learning. When you dedicate one focused hour to growth every day, you begin seeing yourself as someone who takes personal development seriously. Identity shapes behavior more powerfully than goals alone. Goals tell you where you want to go. Identity influences what you do every day. A person who identifies as a disciplined individual naturally makes different choices than someone who sees themselves as inconsistent. The actions reinforce the identity, and the identity reinforces the actions. This cycle becomes stronger over time. The first few days of a routine may require significant effort. The first few weeks may still feel challenging. Eventually, the behavior begins feeling normal. What once required discipline becomes part of daily life. This transformation does not happen instantly. It develops through repetition. One common mistake is trying to build too many routines at once. Someone decides to completely change their life overnight. They create a strict exercise schedule, a reading plan, a diet plan, a learning schedule, and multiple new habits simultaneously. For a short time, enthusiasm carries them forward. Then the system becomes overwhelming. The issue is not ambition. The issue is sustainability. Strong routines are usually built gradually. They become part of life because they can be maintained consistently. Small improvements repeated daily often outperform dramatic changes that last only a few weeks. This is why your one focused hour is so powerful. It creates a manageable foundation. Instead of attempting to transform every area of life immediately, you commit to protecting 1 hour each day. Within that hour, growth occurs steadily. Over months and years, those hours accumulate. 1 hour becomes 7 hours each week. 7 hours become hundreds of hours each year. Hundreds of hours become expertise, progress, confidence, and meaningful achievement. The mathematics of consistency are remarkable. Most people would never ignore a financial investment that grows steadily over time. Yet many overlook the enormous value of investing time consistently. Every focused hour deposits something valuable into your future. The benefits may not be obvious immediately. A single workout does not transform the body. A single reading session does not create mastery. A single productive hour does not change an entire life, but repeated consistently, these actions create results that seem extraordinary to those who only see the outcome. The person who appears disciplined today likely built that discipline through countless ordinary days. They showed up when they felt motivated. They showed up when they did not. They continued following their routines long enough for discipline to become part of their character. You can do the same. You do not need perfect circumstances. You do not need endless willpower. You do not need exceptional talent. You need a routine strong enough to guide action when emotions fluctuate and circumstances become challenging. Your daily hour can become that routine. Protect it, respect it, treat it as an appointment with your future. Allow it to become a non-negotiable part of your day. Some days the hour will feel productive and energizing. Other days it will feel difficult and slow. Both types of days matter. The productive days create visible progress. The difficult days create discipline, and discipline developed through consistent routines becomes one of the most valuable strengths a person can possess. It allows you to keep moving when excitement fades. It allows you to continue growing when progress feels slow. It allows you to remain committed when others quit. Over time, this steady commitment changes more than your schedule. It changes your character. The person who repeatedly honors a daily routine becomes someone who can be trusted by others, relied upon by colleagues, respected by friends, and most importantly, trusted by themselves. That self-trust becomes the foundation for every meaningful achievement that follows. Because once consistent routines strengthen your discipline, you are no longer dependent on chance, mood, or temporary inspiration. You become someone who takes action consistently, and consistent action has the power to change an entire life. Chapter 4. Choose valuable skills and practice them every day. One of the greatest mistakes people make with their time is investing effort into activities that produce little long-term value. They stay busy, they remain occupied, and they often work hard, yet years later they discover that much of their effort did not significantly improve their lives. Activity and progress are not the same thing. A person can spend countless hours doing things without moving meaningfully closer to the future they desire. This is why choosing the right skills matters. Your daily hour is powerful, but its impact depends largely on what you decide to do with it. Time alone does not create transformation. Directed effort creates transformation. When your focused hour is invested in valuable skills, each day becomes a step toward greater opportunities, greater confidence, and greater freedom. A skill is more than knowledge. Knowledge is understanding something. Skill is the ability to apply that understanding effectively. Reading about communication is knowledge. Speaking clearly and confidently is skill. Learning the principles of fitness is knowledge. Consistently applying those principles is skill. Understanding financial concepts is knowledge. Managing money wisely is skill. The world rewards useful skills because skills create value. People who can solve problems, communicate effectively, lead others, create solutions, teach, build, organize, analyze, write, negotiate, or learn quickly often find themselves surrounded by opportunities. Their value grows because their abilities help them contribute in meaningful ways. This does not mean every skill must be connected directly to income. Some skills improve relationships, some improve health, some improve emotional resilience, some increase personal fulfillment. The important question is whether the skill makes your life better and helps you become a stronger version of yourself. Many people struggle because they spend years consuming information without developing capability. They watch videos, they read articles, they collect advice, they gather endless amounts of information, yet very little changes because learning remains passive. Information enters the mind but never becomes action. Real growth begins when learning becomes practice. Practice is where understanding turns into ability. It is where theory meets reality. It is where mistakes become lessons and lessons become competence. Consider someone who wants to become a better speaker. They could spend years reading books about communication. They could watch countless presentations. They could study public speaking techniques extensively. Those resources have value, but genuine improvement occurs when they stand up and speak. Improvement occurs when they organize thoughts clearly, communicate ideas, receive feedback, make adjustments, and repeat the process. Skill grows through application. The same principle applies everywhere. A person learning a language improves by speaking it. A writer improves by writing. A leader improves by leading. A musician improves by practicing music. A business owner improves by solving real business problems. Your daily hour should not be spent merely collecting information. It should be spent building capability. This requires intentionality. Not every skill deserves equal attention. Time is limited. Energy is limited. Focus is limited. Therefore, choosing skills carefully becomes important. One useful question is simple: what ability would create the greatest positive impact on my future? For one person, it may be learning communication. For another, it may be developing technical expertise. Someone else may need leadership skills, financial knowledge, emotional intelligence, writing ability, or a deeper understanding of their profession. The answer differs for each individual, but the principle remains the same. Choose skills that create meaningful value and then commit to practicing them consistently. Many people underestimate how much can be accomplished through daily practice. An hour may seem insignificant on a single day, yet when that hour is repeated over months and years, the results become extraordinary. Think about someone who spends one focused hour every day improving a valuable skill. After a year, they have invested hundreds of hours. After several years, they possess thousands of hours of experience. Their competence grows steadily. Their confidence rises naturally. Their opportunities expand because their abilities expand. What once felt difficult begins feeling familiar. This process often appears slow in the beginning. Early improvement can be frustrating because progress seems limited. Mistakes occur frequently. Results arrive gradually. Many people quit during this stage because they mistake slow progress for lack of progress. Yet, slow progress is still progress. Every expert was once a beginner. Every skilled individual once struggled with basic tasks. Every successful person experienced periods when improvement felt almost invisible. The difference is that they continued practicing. Patience becomes essential because skill development follows a pattern that is often misunderstood. Growth is rarely linear. Improvements may appear small for long periods and then suddenly become noticeable. The work accumulates beneath the surface long before visible results emerge. This is why daily commitment matters more than immediate outcomes. When your focus remains on practicing rather than proving yourself, learning becomes easier. You stop measuring every session by perfection. Instead, you measure success by participation. Did you show up? Did you practice? Did you improve even slightly? Those questions matter more than whether today's effort produced dramatic results. Another important aspect of skill development is accepting mistakes. Many people avoid practice because they dislike feeling inexperienced. They want competence immediately. They want confidence before earning it. Unfortunately, confidence usually follows competence, and competence requires practice. Mistakes are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of learning. Every error reveals information. Every challenge exposes an area for growth. Every difficulty provides an opportunity to improve. When viewed this way, mistakes become valuable rather than discouraging. Consider a child learning to walk. No one expects perfection on the first attempt. Falling is understood as part of the process, yet adults often forget this principle when learning new skills. They become frustrated by beginner-level performance and interpret temporary struggles as permanent limitations. Growth does not work that way. The uncomfortable stage of learning is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that development is occurring. Your one daily hour provides a safe space for this development. It allows you to focus on progress rather than comparison. Too many people measure themselves against others instead of measuring themselves against their previous selves. Comparison often creates discouragement because there will always be someone more advanced. A better approach is to ask a different question. Am I improving? If the answer is yes, you are moving in the right direction. Over time, those small improvements accumulate. The person who practices communication daily becomes more persuasive. The person who studies leadership daily becomes more effective. The person who writes daily becomes more skilled at expressing ideas. The transformation may appear gradual, but its effects can be life-changing. There is also something deeply satisfying about developing mastery. Many modern distractions provide temporary pleasure, but little lasting fulfillment. Skill development offers something different. It creates a sense of accomplishment rooted in real capability. You know you are growing because you can see evidence of your progress. You solve problems more effectively. You perform tasks more confidently. You handle challenges that once felt intimidating. This creates a powerful cycle. Improvement increases confidence. Confidence encourages further effort. Further effort creates additional improvement. The cycle strengthens itself through consistent practice. Your future opportunities are often connected to the skills you develop today. The conversations you will have, the challenges you will solve, the contributions you will make, and the goals you will achieve will all be influenced by the abilities you possess. Every hour invested in meaningful growth expands what becomes possible later. This is why protecting your daily practice matters. Do not wait until conditions feel perfect. Do not postpone development until life becomes easier. Begin with the time available now. Use your focused hour wisely. Invest it in abilities that strengthen your future. Some days progress will be obvious. Other days it will feel almost invisible. Continue anyway. Remember that mastery is not built through occasional effort. It is built through repeated practice. It is built through showing up consistently when improvement feels slow. It is built through patience, persistence, and commitment. Years from now, the skills you choose to develop today may become some of your greatest assets. They may open doors that currently seem out of reach. They may provide opportunities you cannot yet imagine. They may help you create a life that reflects your highest potential. And it all begins with a simple decision. Choose a valuable skill. Protect your daily hour. Practice with intention. Then return tomorrow and do it again. Because extraordinary ability is rarely the result of extraordinary talent alone. More often, it is the result of ordinary people practicing valuable skills consistently until those skills transform their future. Chapter 5. Protect your schedule with firm personal boundaries. Most people do not lose control of their time because they are careless. They lose control because they allow small exceptions that slowly become patterns. A request from someone else feels harmless. A quick favor seems reasonable. A short delay in personal work appears insignificant. Over time, these small decisions reshape an entire schedule without conscious awareness. Time is rarely taken all at once. It is taken in pieces. This is why boundaries matter. A boundary is not about shutting people out. It is about deciding what deserves access to your time and what does not. Without boundaries, your schedule becomes open to constant interruption. With boundaries, your time gains structure and purpose. Many people struggle with this because they equate saying no with being rude or unkind. They want to be helpful, available, and supportive. These are positive traits, but when kindness is not guided by structure, it can lead to exhaustion and lost focus. Every yes carries a hidden cost. When you agree to something, you are also declining something else. You are choosing one activity over another. If you are not intentional, you may end up choosing other people's priorities over your own goals repeatedly without realizing it. Protecting your schedule begins with awareness of this trade-off. Your one focused hour each day is not just a block of time. It is a commitment to your future. It represents personal growth, skill development, and long-term progress. When that hour is disrupted, the cost is not just the lost time itself. The cost is the lost momentum. Momentum is fragile. It takes effort to build and is easily broken. If your daily hour is constantly moved, shortened, or interrupted, your mind begins to treat it as optional. Once something becomes optional, it becomes vulnerable. Boundaries transform it from optional to essential. A firm boundary starts with clarity. You must clearly define when your focused hour begins and ends. It should not depend on mood or convenience. It should not shift based on external requests unless absolutely necessary. It should become a consistent part of your day, like eating or sleeping. When something has a fixed place in your schedule, your mind begins to respect it more seriously. However, clarity alone is not enough. You must also protect that clarity through action. This means learning to delay or decline requests that interfere with your committed time. Many interruptions appear urgent but are not truly important. A message may feel pressing. A call may demand immediate attention. A favor may seem time-sensitive. Yet very few interruptions genuinely require instant response at the cost of your long-term progress. The ability to pause before responding is powerful. Instead of reacting immediately, you evaluate, does this deserve my time right now, or can it wait until after my focused hour? This small moment of reflection often reveals that many interruptions can safely be postponed. Boundaries also involve communication. People around you cannot respect your time if they do not understand its importance. When you consistently protect your schedule, others begin to recognize it as part of your routine. Over time, they adjust their expectations. At first, this may feel uncomfortable. Some people may question your availability. Some may test your consistency. Some may not immediately understand your decision to prioritize focused time. But consistency eventually teaches others how to treat your schedule. When you repeatedly honor your own boundaries, others begin to honor them as well. Another important aspect of boundaries is managing digital interruptions. Modern communication tools are designed to demand attention instantly. Notifications appear constantly. Messages arrive continuously. Social platforms encourage frequent checking. Without intentional limits, these systems can fragment your attention throughout the entire day. Protecting your schedule requires reducing unnecessary exposure to these interruptions during your focused hour. This does not mean disconnecting from everything permanently. It means choosing specific times for communication rather than allowing communication to choose your attention. When your environment is controlled, your focus strengthens. When your focus strengthens, your results improve. There is also a psychological benefit to strong boundaries. When you protect your time, you send a message to yourself that your goals matter. Every time you defend your schedule, you reinforce self-respect. You demonstrate that your personal growth is not secondary to random demands. Without boundaries, a person often feels reactive. They respond constantly to external pressure. Their day feels shaped by others. With boundaries, a person becomes proactive. They decide how their time is used. This shift creates a sense of control that influences every area of life. Many people do not realize how much stress comes from lack of boundaries. When time is constantly fragmented, the mind struggles to settle. Tasks remain unfinished. Attention remains scattered. There is always something waiting to be completed, but never enough uninterrupted space to complete it. This creates mental fatigue. A protected schedule reduces that fatigue. When you know your focused hour is safe, your mind can relax outside of it. You no longer feel the need to constantly worry about when progress will happen, because progress already has a designated space. Boundaries also help eliminate resentment. When people continuously give their time without limits, they may begin feeling overwhelmed or underappreciated. They may agree to tasks they do not want to do and later feel frustrated about it. This frustration often builds silently. Clear boundaries prevent this buildup. They allow you to give intentionally rather than compulsively. You choose when to help, when to engage, and when to focus on your own growth. This creates healthier relationships as well. When your time is respected, your interactions with others become more genuine. You are not constantly distracted or internally conflicted. You are present when you choose to be present. A common challenge is fear of missing out or falling behind socially or professionally if boundaries are enforced. People worry that saying no will lead to lost opportunities or damaged relationships. However, the opposite is often true. People who respect their time tend to become more reliable, not less. When others know your availability is structured, they learn to value your attention more. Your time becomes more meaningful because it is not freely scattered. There is also a deeper truth about boundaries. They protect not only your time, but your identity. Every time you allow unnecessary interruption during your focused hour, you are also allowing external influence to shape your direction. Every time you protect that hour, you are reinforcing who you are becoming. A disciplined person is not someone who never faces distractions. A disciplined person is someone who chooses what deserves their attention. Your boundaries define that choice. Over time, consistent protection of your schedule builds trust within yourself. You begin to believe in your ability to follow through regardless of external pressure. That internal trust becomes a foundation for confidence in other areas of life. The goal is not to create a rigid or isolated life. The goal is to create a structured one, a life where time is not constantly slipping away unnoticed, a life where priorities are clear and protected, a life where meaningful work is given the space it requires. Your daily hour deserves that protection. Treat it as something valuable because it is, not because it is rare, but because it shapes your future. Not because it is complicated, but because it is consistent. Not because it demands perfection, but because it demands respect. When you protect your schedule with firm personal boundaries, you are not limiting your life, you are strengthening it. You are creating the conditions where real progress becomes possible and sustainable. And in that protected space, transformation begins to take root. Chapter 6. Replace excuses with actions that create lasting results. Excuses often feel harmless in the moment. They appear as reasonable explanations for delay, as logical responses to difficult situations, or as temporary pauses before action begins. Yet over time, excuses do something subtle but powerful. They shift responsibility away from behavior and place it onto circumstances. Once that shift happens repeatedly, progress becomes something that always seems out of reach. Most people do not consciously decide to avoid action. They gradually build patterns of justification. A busy day becomes a reason to skip effort. Low energy becomes a reason to postpone learning. Lack of time becomes a reason to avoid starting. The language changes slowly, but the outcome remains the same. Action is delayed, and delay becomes habit. Excuses feel comfortable because they reduce pressure in the short term. They remove the discomfort of facing unfinished goals. They create temporary relief by explaining why something was not done. However, that relief comes at a cost. The cost is progress. The cost is momentum. The cost is self-trust. When excuses become a regular response, a person begins to separate intention from behavior. They still want improvement, but they stop acting in alignment with that desire. Over time, this creates internal conflict. There is a part of the mind that wants change, and another part that keeps postponing it. This conflict drains energy and creates frustration. Replacing excuses with action begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not recognize. Many excuses are automatic. They appear quickly without reflection. The thought arises that says, "Today is not the right day," or "There is too much going on," or "Starting tomorrow will be easier." These thoughts often go unchallenged because they feel familiar. The first step is to notice them clearly. When an excuse appears, it must be seen for what it is, not a truth, but a choice point. At that moment, a decision exists. One direction leads toward action, the other leads toward delay. Both are available, but only one creates lasting results. Action does not require perfect conditions, it requires decision. Many people wait for circumstances to align before they begin. They believe progress depends on timing, mood, or external support. In reality, progress depends primarily on initiation. Starting creates momentum. Waiting creates stagnation. Consider someone who wants to improve their fitness. An excuse may suggest that the day is too tiring, or that they will begin when they feel more motivated. If they accept that excuse, nothing changes. If instead they begin even with limited energy, something shifts. The body responds to movement. Energy often increases after activity begins. The excuse loses power once action starts. This pattern appears in many areas of life. A person who wants to study may feel distracted or unprepared. The excuse suggests postponement, but if they begin with even a small effort, focus often improves. A person who wants to write may feel uncertain about ideas. The excuse suggests waiting for inspiration, but if they start writing anyway, clarity often emerges through the process. Action creates clarity. Excuses preserve confusion. One of the most effective ways to replace excuses is to simplify the starting point. Many excuses arise because tasks feel overwhelming. When something appears too large, the mind naturally seeks reasons to avoid it. Breaking the task into a small, immediate step removes that resistance. Instead of thinking about completing everything, focus only on beginning. Begin for a short period. Begin with a simple action. Begin with what is immediately possible. Once movement starts, the mental barrier weakens. Another important shift is understanding that excuses often rely on emotion. They are influenced by temporary feelings, such as fatigue, doubt, or lack of enthusiasm. These emotions are real, but they are not permanent indicators of capability. If actions are controlled only by emotional states, consistency becomes impossible. A more stable approach is to separate decision from feeling. Decision comes first. Feeling follows action. When action becomes independent of emotion, discipline begins to form. This does not mean ignoring emotions. It means not allowing them to dictate whether meaningful work happens. There is also a deeper truth about excuses. They often protect identity. When someone repeatedly avoids action, they begin to form an identity around inaction. They may describe themselves as someone who struggles with discipline, or someone who finds it difficult to stay consistent. Over time, these descriptions become self-reinforcing. Breaking this pattern requires a shift in identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who struggles with action, begin seeing yourself as someone who acts despite resistance. This does not require perfection, it requires repetition. Each time you choose action over excuse, you reinforce a new identity. Your daily hour becomes a powerful tool for this transformation. Within that hour, excuses will naturally appear. You may feel tired, you may feel distracted, you may feel like postponing effort. These moments are not obstacles to your progress, they are opportunities to strengthen your discipline. Every time you continue despite resistance, you weaken the influence of excuses. Every time you stop for an excuse, you strengthen its influence. The direction of your growth depends on which pattern you repeat. Many people underestimate how quickly excuses can become habitual. What begins as occasional delay can evolve into a default response. Once that happens, even small tasks feel difficult to start. The mind automatically searches for reasons not to act. Reversing this pattern requires consistency in the opposite direction. Action must become the default response. Not perfect action, but immediate action. One effective method is to shorten the time between intention and action. When you decide to do something meaningful, begin quickly. Do not allow long delays for planning or overthinking. The longer the gap between decision and execution, the more space excuses have to appear. Immediate action reduces negotiation. It limits the time available for doubt to grow. Another important realization is that excuses rarely lead to satisfaction. Even when they succeed in delaying effort, they do not provide lasting relief. Instead, they often create guilt or frustration later. The task still remains, but now it is accompanied by additional emotional weight. Action, even when imperfect, creates a different outcome. It produces a sense of progress. Even small effort creates forward movement. That movement builds confidence and reduces internal resistance over time. Consider the difference between two individuals. One repeatedly postpones important work and accumulates unfinished intentions. The other consistently takes action even in small steps. Over time, their experiences diverge significantly. One carries increasing mental pressure, the other develops increasing clarity and confidence. The difference is not intelligence, it is response to excuses. Excuses can never fully disappear, but their influence can be reduced. The goal is not to eliminate every moment of hesitation. The goal is to prevent hesitation from becoming inaction. Your focused hour is where this principle becomes practical. It is the space where excuses will naturally appear and where they can be consciously replaced with action. It is the environment where discipline is trained through repetition. Each time you choose to act within that hour, despite resistance, you are reshaping your future behavior. You are teaching your mind that excuses do not control outcomes. You are proving that progress is possible regardless of temporary discomfort. Over time, something subtle changes. The excuses do not disappear, but they lose authority. They become background thoughts rather than decision makers. Action becomes more immediate. Resistance becomes less influential. This shift is one of the most important transformations in personal development. Because once excuses no longer control behavior, consistency becomes possible. And once consistency becomes possible, lasting results are no longer uncertain. They become inevitable outcomes of repeated effort. In that way, every moment you replace an excuse with action is not just a single decision, it is a step toward a different life. A life shaped not by delay, but by steady and intentional progress. Chapter 7. Strengthen mental resilience through deliberate daily effort. Mental resilience is not something people are born with in fixed amounts. It is something developed through repeated exposure to difficulty and the decision to keep moving forward anyway. Many people assume resilience comes from avoiding pressure or reducing stress, but in reality it comes from learning how to function within pressure without breaking consistency. Life will always include challenges. Some challenges are external, such as work demands, financial pressure, or unexpected responsibilities. Others are internal, such as doubt, fatigue, lack of motivation, or emotional discomfort. What determines long-term success is not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to remain steady in the presence of it. Deliberate daily effort is one of the most powerful ways to build this steadiness. When a person commits to one focused hour each day, they are not only building skills or progress, they are also training the mind to remain engaged even when conditions are not perfect. Some days will feel easy and focused. Other days will feel slow and heavy. Both types of days are important because they train different aspects of resilience. Easy days build momentum. Difficult days build strength. Many people only enjoy the easy days and avoid the difficult ones, but resilience is not developed in comfort. It is developed when you continue acting even when your internal state resists. Every time you choose to show up during discomfort, you are strengthening mental endurance. This is similar to physical training. Muscles do not grow only during comfortable movement. They grow when they are challenged. The resistance creates adaptation. Without resistance, there is no improvement. Mental resilience follows a similar pattern. Without challenge, the mind remains fragile. With controlled challenge, it becomes stronger. A daily practice creates that controlled challenge. It gives you repeated opportunities to face resistance in a structured environment. Instead of waiting for life to overwhelm you, you intentionally practice showing up under varying conditions. One of the most important lessons in resilience is learning that feelings are temporary, but actions have lasting effects. Emotional states change constantly. A person may feel confident in the morning and uncertain in the evening. They may feel motivated one day and exhausted the next. If behavior depends entirely on these shifting states, consistency becomes impossible. Resilience begins when actions no longer depend on emotional comfort. Your daily hour becomes a training ground for this principle. Even when motivation is low, you still show up. Even when focus is scattered, you still engage. Even when progress feels slow, you still continue. Over time, this repetition builds emotional stability because you learn that discomfort does not need to control behavior. Another key aspect of resilience is learning how to remain steady when results are delayed. Many people give up not because they cannot work, but because they cannot tolerate slow progress. They expect visible change quickly, and when it does not appear, they interpret it as failure. But meaningful growth often works beneath the surface for long periods before becoming visible. Skills develop quietly, habits strengthen gradually, confidence builds slowly through repeated proof of effort. Deliberate daily effort trains patience. It teaches you to continue without immediate validation. Each session becomes a reminder that progress is not always visible but is still happening. There is also a deeper psychological shift that occurs through consistent effort. A person begins to separate identity from temporary performance. Instead of saying, "I had a bad day, so I am not disciplined," they begin to understand that one difficult day does not define who they are. Identity becomes based on long-term patterns rather than isolated moments. This shift is essential for resilience because it prevents setbacks from becoming permanent emotional collapse. A single unproductive day no longer feels like a personal failure. It becomes just one data point in a longer journey. Over time, this mindset creates emotional stability. Instead of reacting strongly to every fluctuation in performance, a person learns to maintain perspective. This perspective is what allows resilience to grow. Another important factor is exposure to internal resistance. Many people think resistance should be avoided, but resistance is actually a signal that growth is being attempted. When you feel hesitation, boredom, frustration, or doubt during your focused hour, it is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are working at the edge of comfort. Each time you continue despite resistance, you expand your capacity to handle discomfort. This expansion is what resilience actually means. It is not the absence of difficulty, but the increasing ability to remain functional despite difficulty. A person who avoids resistance remains fragile because they never train under pressure. A person who faces resistance regularly becomes adaptable because they learn to operate even when conditions are not ideal. Your daily hour gives you this controlled exposure. It is not random chaos, but intentional challenge. You choose to engage even when it is inconvenient. You choose to continue even when the mind resists. This repeated choice builds a stronger internal foundation. Resilience also grows through repetition, because repetition reduces fear. Many people fear difficult tasks because they are unfamiliar. The mind tends to exaggerate difficulty when something is not yet habitual. But when you perform the same focused effort every day, the unfamiliar becomes familiar. What once felt intimidating begins to feel normal. This normalization reduces emotional volatility. You are no longer surprised by the effort required. You are no longer overwhelmed by the process. You simply engage because it has become part of your routine. There is another subtle benefit to daily effort. It teaches you how to recover quickly. Not every day will be perfect. Some days focus will break. Some sessions will feel unproductive. Resilience is not about never experiencing these moments. It is about returning to effort without losing momentum. A resilient mind does not stay discouraged for long periods. It resets and continues. It recognizes that inconsistency is part of the process, but does not allow inconsistency to define the entire journey. This ability to reset quickly is one of the most valuable traits a person can develop. It prevents temporary setbacks from becoming long-term stagnation. The combination of consistency and recovery creates a powerful system. Consistency builds progress. Recovery preserves momentum. Together they form resilience. As this practice continues, something important begins to change internally. Effort feels less like a burden and more like a normal part of life. Challenges feel less threatening. Difficult days feel manageable. Emotional fluctuations lose some of their control over behavior. You begin to trust yourself more deeply because you have repeated evidence that you can continue regardless of conditions. This self-trust is one of the strongest foundations of resilience. It is not built through theory or motivation. It is built through experience. Every day you complete your focused hour. Despite resistance, you are adding another layer to that foundation. Over time, these layers accumulate. What once required effort becomes automatic. What once felt difficult becomes familiar. What once felt impossible becomes achievable through repetition. Mental resilience is not a sudden transformation. It is a gradual strengthening of the mind through repeated exposure to effort. Your daily hour is that exposure. It is where discipline is tested and strengthened. It is where resistance is faced and overcome. It is where emotional instability is replaced with steady action. And through that steady action, you do not just build skills or habits. You build a mind that can withstand difficulty and continue moving forward regardless of circumstances. That is the essence of resilience, not avoidance of struggle, but the ability to grow stronger because of it. Chapter 8. Track small improvements and celebrate steady advancement. Progress rarely announces itself in dramatic ways. Most real growth happens quietly, in small increments that are easy to overlook in the moment. A better decision here, a slightly faster understanding there, a moment of resistance handled more calmly than before. These changes may not feel significant when they happen, yet they accumulate into transformation over time. The problem is that the human mind is not naturally designed to notice slow progress. It looks for clear milestones and visible results. When those are absent, it often assumes nothing is changing. This creates discouragement even when meaningful improvement is already taking place. This is why tracking matters. Tracking small improvements allows you to see evidence of growth that would otherwise remain invisible. It turns progress from something vague into something observable. When you can see where you started and where you are now, motivation becomes more stable because it is grounded in reality rather than assumption. Many people underestimate how powerful small improvements can be because they compare their current state to an ideal future version of themselves. This comparison often creates frustration. Instead of recognizing improvement, they focus on the distance still remaining. While awareness of long-term goals is important, ignoring short-term progress can weaken consistency. A better approach is to measure yourself against your previous self. The goal is not perfection. The goal is direction. Are you moving forward compared to yesterday, last week, or last month? Even small signs of progress matter because they confirm that effort is working. Your daily focused hour becomes more meaningful when it is connected to reflection. At the end of each session, there is value in briefly acknowledging what improved. It does not need to be complex or time-consuming. It simply requires attention. Maybe you understood something more clearly than before. Maybe you completed a task with less hesitation. Maybe you stayed focused for longer without distraction. Maybe you made fewer mistakes. Each of these is a form of progress. When these improvements are noticed, they reinforce continued effort. The mind begins to associate discipline with positive results rather than just effort and struggle. This changes how consistency feels. Instead of feeling like repetition without reward, it begins to feel like visible advancement. Tracking also helps identify patterns that are otherwise invisible. Without reflection, a person may not realize what is improving and what is not. They may repeat the same mistakes without awareness, but when progress is observed over time, patterns emerge. You begin to see which habits support growth and which habits slow it down. This awareness is powerful because it allows adjustment. Instead of continuing blindly, you refine your approach. Small corrections made regularly often lead to significant long-term improvement. Another important benefit of tracking is that it strengthens commitment during difficult periods. There will be days when motivation is low and effort feels heavy. On those days, looking back at previous progress provides reassurance. It reminds you that your effort has already produced results, even if they are not always visible in the moment. This prevents discouragement from becoming permanent. Many people quit just before meaningful progress becomes noticeable because they cannot see the growth they have already made. Tracking protects against this by making progress visible across time. Celebrating small improvements is equally important. Celebration does not need to be exaggerated or external. It does not require rewards or recognition from others. It simply means acknowledging effort with respect. It means recognizing that consistent action is worth appreciating. When you acknowledge progress, even in small forms, you strengthen the emotional connection to your goals. The mind responds positively to recognition. It becomes more willing to repeat behaviors that are associated with satisfaction. Without acknowledgement, progress can start to feel empty. A person may work hard but feel disconnected from results. Over time, this can reduce motivation. But when improvement is recognized, even subtly, effort feels more meaningful. Celebration also helps balance discipline with emotional well-being. Discipline alone can sometimes feel strict or demanding. When combined with appreciation, it becomes sustainable. You are not just pushing yourself forward, you are also recognizing the value of the journey. This balance is important because long-term growth requires consistency, not intensity alone. A person who feels constantly pressured without acknowledgement may eventually burn out. A person who combines effort with recognition is more likely to continue. Your focused hour is not just a task, it is a process of becoming. Each session contributes something to your development. When you recognize this, even ordinary days begin to feel significant. Over time, tracking small improvements builds a deeper sense of identity. You no longer rely on occasional achievements to define yourself. Instead, you see yourself as someone who is steadily improving. This identity shift is powerful because it reinforces continued action. When you believe you are someone who improves regularly, you naturally look for ways to continue that pattern. You become more attentive to growth opportunities. You become more aware of your actions. You begin making choices that support progress without needing constant external motivation. There is also a practical advantage to tracking. It helps you stay realistic about your pace of growth. Many people become impatient because they forget how far they have come in a short period of time. When improvement is recorded, perspective is maintained. You can see that even slow progress is still progress. This reduces frustration and increases patience. Patience is essential for long-term success because meaningful change does not happen instantly. It develops over time through repeated effort. Tracking helps you see that time is being used effectively rather than wasted. Another important aspect of celebration is that it creates emotional resilience. When effort is consistently acknowledged, setbacks become easier to handle. A difficult day does not erase previous progress. It is simply part of the larger journey. This perspective prevents emotional extremes. Instead of feeling extreme success or extreme failure, you develop a more stable sense of progress. You understand that growth includes both advancement and temporary difficulty. Your daily hour becomes a source of evidence. Evidence that you are improving. Evidence that your discipline is working. Evidence that your effort is producing change. Without tracking, this evidence can be forgotten. With tracking, it becomes clear and motivating. The act of writing down or mentally noting small improvements may seem simple, but its impact is significant. It turns invisible progress into visible progress. It turns uncertainty into awareness. It turns doubt into confidence. Over time, this practice changes how you relate to your efforts. You begin to trust the process more because you can see its results accumulating. You are no longer guessing whether progress is happening. You can observe it directly. This trust strengthens consistency. When you trust that your actions are leading somewhere, you are more likely to continue. When you can see even small signs of advancement, you are more likely to stay committed during challenging moments. Eventually, something important happens. The accumulation of small improvements becomes obvious. What once felt slow suddenly reveals itself as significant growth over time. Skills become stronger, focus becomes deeper, discipline becomes more natural, and it all traces back to the decision to notice what was previously ignored. Tracking small improvements and celebrating steady advancement does not change the nature of progress. It changes your awareness of it. And when awareness changes, motivation changes. When motivation changes, consistency becomes easier. And when consistency becomes easier, long-term transformation becomes possible. In the end, progress was always happening. The only difference is whether you chose to see it.